So I didn't get into the Marathon Alpha. But instead of crying all day, I did the next best thing that I could. I took a deep dive into some streams. I looked at some YouTube videos, went into some Reddit threads, and I even dove into the cesspool of Twitter to see what everybody was saying, what their thoughts and emotions are, first impressions. And y'all, it's a mixed bag, bro. It's a mixed bag to say the least. Some people love it. Some people are already out. And there is a very healthy and honestly larger middle ground of people who are like very on the fence, but like are eager to kind of see what happens. I'm not gonna say cautiously optimistic, but it's like, you know, I can see some things working out here. A lot of people saying it's got a lot of potential, but they just don't know. That's really what it is. I figured we talk about the good, the bad, the weird, the ugly, and some overall personal thoughts for the community's overall first impressions of the Marathon Alpha. So starting off first with the good, we got things like gunplay, movement, and kind of like the general vibes of the alpha so far, right? A lot of people are saying the gunplay feels very, very smooth, very punchy, very on brand for Bungie. You know, like I said before, you played a Bungie game, you played Destiny, you played old Halos, you know how they feel. They're pretty good. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, well, like I said, it's pretty much more of the same. Not gonna lie, I've been seeing some debates on this, but generally I think it's in a good spot. It seems like it's in a good spot. I mean, it's definitely on that like slower pace, but you have the ability to be a little zippy boy if you want to. Some people have a little some gripes about the heat/stamina system, but generally overall movement is all right. You know, you don't feel super sluggish, and when you're in like PvP fights, you can do some stuff, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was watching a clip from Shroud, bro. Homie was zipping, bro. The fight lasted like 15 seconds. Homie dashed like he was playing Locust, which is the crazy part about it too, because like Locust, it looks like Locust has like a lower sort of sense of stamina, so like he'll do like the dash move or whatever, and that dash builds up that heat bar like super fast. Obviously it's Shroud, right? So he's like a bit of an anomaly, but he pretty much like shows what like could be for the movement, right? Saw a guy, ran away for a quick second, turned around with the sniper, dropped one dude, ran, dashed up to like a platform, whipped out a pistol, and then like completely annihilated the other dude. It was crazy. The fight lasted like 10 seconds. Bro, you have the ability to be zippy if you build your character right and you know how to use the like kit to your advantage, for sure. And then speaking of which, the PvP gunfights, a lot of people are pretty much saying it's fun across the board. Some other people are saying it's like not as frequent, but more often than not, when you're in the gunfights feel good, the gunfights feel fun. I've seen a lot of people, both hardcore sweats and kind of people who are vibing, say that the general PvP is a good time. Also, one thing that I noticed that I've seen a couple times be said, a lot of people kind of noticed that like the time goes by faster than they anticipated. Like we've all seen before, when you go into a run, you got about 25 minutes, and some people, I mean, yeah, some people dip out fast, but some people stay for a good while, like sub 10 minutes, sub 5 minutes, and a lot of people are like, yo, it's been 20 something minutes already, what's happening, right? And then another like thing that I saw as well that's like pretty good for this, a lot of people are saying it's like really easy for you to kind of just like keep getting into games. Like you complete a run, whether you die or you exfil, and then like you pretty much are like right back into the game again, which is pretty good just to kind of keep you in that ecosystem and to keep you going. So a lot of like general positives so far, and some good sentiment there as well. And then moving on to like the weirder like kind of section, talking about style, talking about pacing, and talking about some design stuff. First off, again, art style. Hey, a lot of people are saying it looks cool. Some people are saying, I'm not really feeling it. Obviously, you got the Roblox Concord motherfuckers again. We've already talked about that. Moving on, right? Again, art style divisive, depending on who you talk to, love it or hate it, right? Gameplay wise, for like match flow, I've seen some people are pretty happy with it. Some people aren't so happy with it. The kind of general consensus that I'm seeing for people who kind of like aren't so happy with it is mainly because a lot of people feel like there's not enough like PvP happening. Like you might not run into as many players on a run. Sometimes you don't run into anybody. I popped into a couple streams and like people were going a whole run and like they're in there for 15-20 minutes. Nobody. It's just nothing but like UESC. And it's split. Again, some people find that pretty cool. Some people find that like more chill, relaxing, whatever. And then like maybe when the PvP engagements actually happen, it's like a little whoa. Some people, again, who are pretty gung-ho are like, what the fuck is happening? But again, that's kind of a weird one too, because I've seen some scenarios where like some people are just always fighting, whether it's like bots and people, just people. I've seen a lot of scenarios too where you can have some games where you're like just fighting people. So it's definitely a little wonky, especially on like the bigger maps like Perimeter and Dire Marsh. Obviously, there's just more space in between the teams. Sometimes there's less people. I think on Perimeter there's like less people than there would be on Dire Marsh, so you just have like less opportunity to run into people. But I saw that sentiment as well, where it's like some people are kind of like, I wish there was more PvP engagement. Some people are like, it's pretty cool, I can actually chill out and do some things. So again, depending on where you lie on that like gung-ho spectrum, pretty much up to you, right? Some other design decisions that people are kind of about, mainly more negative leaning, the quest tracking, the contract tracking. You can only do one at a time. I've seen a couple complaints talking about how that's kind of buns. I still think, me personally, I think it's like a Bungie kind of throttling people to not burn through all the like, one, the level ups fast, but two, like the content of the game, quote unquote, fast. Just because like if you have only one kind of contract that you can complete and make progress on per run, there's only so much that you can do within a run, right? So I've seen a lot of kind of issues on that. I've seen some issues on, again, the weapon mods. They were brought up a couple times where some people would be like, yo, I got a sick gun, it's vintage, I should sell it, let me go rip the mods off real quick. Wait, I can't rip the mods off? What do you mean? I'm not doing that. Then like a lot of discourse around why the fuck can we not take the mods off the gun. Hey, Bungie, y'all gotta look at that. I don't know, that's seeing a lot of that go around. And then seeing some things with like UI, again, kind of going to like the art style, but it's mainly like discrepancies between like a lot of it. People saying interiors look good, but the exteriors and like outside looks a little so very not too sure, right? So some funky things about the game for sure. Obviously, again, it's an alpha, but hey, just figured I'd throw that out there as well. And then moving on here to like the last and probably the biggest piece of the game, the split. Is the game for you type scenario. I don't really like it, I love it, what's going on here, those type of questions, comments, concerns, right? And yeah, it's spicy out there. I'm not gonna lie to you right now, the community is pretty split. Some people are saying it's rough, it's clunky, it don't seem finished, yada yada yada. Some people think it's great. Some people think the bones are really solid, the foundation is good, ready to go, please give me more. And like I said, there's a lot of people in the middle who are kind of more negative or constructive leaning or more positive / hype leaning, right? I'm not too familiar with this, but I've seen this come up in multiple streams and like multiple kind of subreddits and things. A lot of people are comparing it to the cycle, which again, I'm not familiar with, but I've seen that comparison kind of more often than not. Like I said, I'm a Hunt Showdown guy and like a baby teaspoon amount of Tarkov experience. That's where all my extraction shooter stuff comes from, but I've heard a lot of the cycle come up. So yeah, a lot of that going around. I would say there's a debate with M&K aim assist, but it's more so a lot of people just saying get that shit out of there. It don't need to be in the game. We don't need to have it. M&K aim assist, magnetism, all that, and you can turn it off. It's on by default, and most of the people who I've watched play it are kind of just off by default, you know. And most of the people that I spent time in stream wise, Dr. Lupo, Shroud, It's Timmy, Mr. Waffle, Astacross, Scarrow, spent some time in a lot of those streams, kind of just bouncing around, seeing what's happening, you know. And hey, pretty much I think primarily if you're like a hardcore PvP PC person, or you're just like pretty adequate with it, it's not really like a thing that you want or need. I don't know, I don't really play PC that much, so I'm not really sure. Also, again, just a kind of a small add to that as well, I've seen a lot of comparisons to like people saying it feels like how Halo's M&K like aim assist feels, which again I have no experience with, but I've seen that come up a couple times, so I wanted to bring that here as well. But one of the biggest things that I definitely saw, I saw this a lot, a lot of people were pretty much asking like, who is this for? Where is the market fit, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I can kind of agree with the sentiment a little bit. I only say that because, again, a lot of people describe this as like a Tarkov light, I say the floor slash barrier to entry is pretty low outside of the possible $40 price tag, whatever, right? But barrier to entry is pretty low. The game is pretty easy to pick up and kind of understand, but like it doesn't have a lot of hardcore systems, hardcore elements, which kind of bleeds into that, like what's the longevity, what's happening to kind of keep people coming back scenario. And yeah, I think that's a very fair question to ask, and I honestly think this game itself is going to weed a lot of people out, right? I've seen a lot of people say, hey, it's got the potential to find like its own little audience within this extraction shooter FPS space, but a lot of people right now are just really trying to nail down like who is this exactly for. A lot of people saying, hey, it's probably not going to be for Destiny heads because it's too like hardcore takeaway type for them. Probably not for Tarkov heads because it's not hardcore enough. Not 100% sure. Speaking from personal experience, it's really up my alley because again, yeah, it's not Tarkov heavy, but it's not hardcore, so it's not like the learning curve is too steep. I'm hoping there's like more elements as like the deeper you go in and the more you play, there's more nuance to it, but I don't know, that's for time to tell. Again, the art style, divisive, but I love it. The lore slash world building, some people aren't really gonna be here for it, especially for the type of game that it is. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. It being sci-fi is already a thing. I'm already in. I'm a junkie for sci-fi stuff, especially like this type of stuff, so I'm in for it. A lot of people aren't in for that. So again, just a lot of those areas are very divisive, and it's pretty much going to be for you or not for you. That's why I say it's going to be a big sort of weed out process for sure. And yeah, like just that kind of just like bleeds into my next sort of portion of like the split. It's like this alpha has pretty much done three big things, right? For the people who are kind of like already out or like weren't even like on board to begin with, a lot of them just seem to be like fully out. They're like, yeah, you got like the bottom of the bottom who are like dead on DOA, dead on arrival, Concord 2, right? And then you got some people who are like, yeah, this ain't really what I'm looking for. Nah, I'm good, right? And then above that, you got the people who are like in the middle but more negative leaning. It's like, yeah, it looks okay, but there's other options out there, yada yada yada, you know, that type of scenario. And then you have the people who are neutral but like hype leaning or more positive, where it's like, hey, I can really see potential for this. There's a lot of good stuff here. They need to definitely add some stuff. I don't know, we'll see what happens, right? And then just a quick pin in that for sure. I've seen a couple people, and when I say like a couple people, a few people, I'm like kind of generalizing, but because obviously it's like not 2 or like 4, but like I've seen it come up a few times. I've seen a couple people say like it might need a delay. I don't know, it doesn't look like it need a lot of work. Me personally, like I haven't played it, so I can't really say, but I don't know. It seems like Bungie is definitely kind of going for that like early access type of scenario. Hey, as it goes along, if you're an early adopter, you're here for it, and then whatever, right? That's what it seems like. But hey, it was brought up a couple times, so I just wanted to put it in here for sure. So like people who are neutral leaning but like more positive, like kind of hype, that's where they're kind of sitting at. And then a lot of people who were pretty much already on board, ready to go. They want to see more from the game. They want to play more. They're ready to kind of sink their teeth into the narrative, lore, whatever. So yeah, like I feel like if you were already kind of in the pro, I love this camp, or the I hate this, I don't really want this camp, you're pretty much like set. I didn't really see anybody kind of like jump ship or switch over. If you're like neutral, I think that's where the big sort of like the swing is going to kind of be, right? I seen a lot of neutrals. And I feel like that the longer the alpha goes on, and then inevitably like when beta comes around, I feel like that's where it's going to kind of, you're going to see a lot of people go, yeah, I'm on board, or yeah, this ain't gonna be for me. Seen a lot of neutrals for sure. And yeah, I mean, that's, and all in all, that's where the community's at with Marathon. Some people love it, some people hate it. A ton of people are just on the fence, curious, kind of keeping their eye on it to see what's happening. Like I said, I'm hype. I want to see the game do well. I just want to get into the alpha. Please, Bungie, let me in, please. Fuck. I just want to play. That's all I want to do. You best believe I'm going to keep my eyes on this. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see what happens. Crash and burn or great success, I'm here for it. I'm ready to see. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you hyped? Are you on the fence? Are you already out? let me know. And if you want more marathon and FPS content from the boy, be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button, as I would greatly appreciate it, because I'm trying to make my way in the space a little bit. So I'd appreciate any and all of your support. It's gonna be an interesting week and a half. Let's see what happens. See y'all on Tau 74.